Static buzz in the midnight air. Travic and Sp00ker in the gamer's lair. The loot drops falling like a neon rain. Pixel worlds driving us insane. Halo rings light up the fight. Sonic speed blurs through the night. Diablo's demons in the dungeon's breath. Path of Exile paths leading to death. Live farming gossip in the glow. Digital whispers in the flow. EverQuest dreams keep us alive. Dead by daylight screams collide. Talk of bosses grinding bones. Legends born in gaming zones. Quests that stretch beyond the frame. In this podcast we name the game. Controllers on the heartbeat song. Sp00ker's laugh keeps the vibe strong. Travic's words cut through the noise. Gaming tales from girls and boys. Loot farming gossip in the glow. Digital whispers in the flow. EverQuest dreams keep us alive. Dead by daylight screams collide. Controllers hum the heartbeat song. Sp00ker's laugh keeps the vibe strong. Travic's words cut through the noise. Gaming tales from girls and boys. The farming gossip in the glow. Digital whispers in the flow. EverQuest dreams keep us alive. Dead by daylight screams collide.
Hello, and welcome to another long-awaited episode of Loot Farming and Gossip. Today, me, Sp00ker, and my guest, Travic here, are going to sit down and talk about D4, the good, the bad, the banter, and PoE 2, the good, bad, and banter. So, Travic, how are you doing today?
We're good. We're chilling.
Excited for that new patch coming, right? As of recording.
It was supposed to come live at like 8, and like it's now, which is like a real shocker. I wasn't expecting it to be now.
GGG's been on nothing but the surprise train for this league, and it's been really, really good. And I'm excited. I like it. I love it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's surprising, and there's another big patch next week. They've already said, so it's gonna be good.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be great. I actually let's just dive right into that topic since we opened up with that. They have been slamming updates, changes, nerfs, buffs, balancing, which is kind of one of the things that both you and I have agreed on. Like, it's early access. We want them to treat it as such, whereas it felt like when they first started at launch, 0.1, they were more focused on okay, this is basically a launch of a game, and we're not going to mess with things throughout the season. We're going to basically launch with what we got and then take feedback from that league and adjust from there. But it seems like they're taking a much different approach this league, and I'm loving it. So with that being said, what's your thoughts on the approach that they've changed this league versus the other leagues going forward?
Aggressively buffing and nerfing is 100% what they should have been doing since day one. Like every week there should be something new, or every 2 or 3 days there should be something new. And the fact that they're finally doing it is really nice. Like it's very refreshing, because now we actually get real updates in real time, and like, you know, our concerns are heard, which is nice.
Right. And I think the big thing to take away from this is that the element of anything can change at any moment, being an early access game, while it can make some people feel like, oh, well, I just lost all my effort and earnings and all that good stuff, or they nerfed my favorite thing, or sweet, they buffed my favorite thing. It's now we're getting more into the development of the game, and we get to see like, okay, Temple was broken at right. I mean, it's been broken since it came out. Let's be real. But needless to say, people found another way to break the Temple, and this time they were like, oh no, we're not doing this anymore, and they hit it with a change. I won't say necessarily that it was a complete nerf or dead, but they hit it with a change, right?
Sure.
And I think that that's probably the best approach to take on the game, because with it being in early access, allowing stuff that's broken to consist and be abused for a long period of times makes the league and players feel much worse, in my opinion. For you league started. What did you league start this league?
Shit. What did I? Monk.
Was it Monk?
Start. Yeah.
Because I know you were balanced in between the two, and I couldn't remember if you actually league started Monk or
yeah,
you did.
I started Monk. Yeah.
And you're on the shield throw. Is that on a Monk? No,
Nope,
it's on
Titan.
Warrior. Yeah, it's on Warrior Titan.
Yes.
Warrior Titan. Crazy shenanigans. That shield's OP, by the way. All those liars out there saying it's broken. They just wanted it to be cheap.
I mean, it's cheap. It's like it's pretty cheap. So I don't know. People think it's bad. I don't know. People are dumb.
Yeah, well, I mean, people just like to take what, bigger influencers put out there, and they just take it and run with it. They don't like to think for themselves. Not necessarily dumb, just, yeah, I guess kind of dumb. Think for yourself, guys. So far, how is your new shield build going? Like,
It's fun. It's pretty done. Like, I can min-max more from where I'm at, but a buddy of mine linked me something today that has ruined everything, and I'm about to delete everything and go sell everything as soon as I get out of this call, and then go reroll. It's gonna be a good time.
Ooh, shenanigans.
What he's playing is so wild and so crazy that I'm pretty positive every RMT and their mother will be coming out of the woodworks for this one.
I love it. So the new patch that's coming out today, which is June 18th, what is the details behind it? Because I just jumped into that. I didn't get a chance to look over it or see what's going on with that.
They have not given us patch notes. But at least I don't think they've given us patch notes. But there's a preview of what's coming out. It's like a 3 or 4 minute video. Essentially, some things are bugged and dropping half loot. Other things are just not dropping loot. Scaling's all cooked. So Delirium, Breach, Abyss, Expedition are all getting buffed. Temple's getting, air quotes, nerfed, but Temple currency should be worth more money. So, like, everything should be better. The sea content should be better. Simulacrum should be better. Abyss in map should be better. The Kulak fight's actually worth doing. There's Ancient Desecrated Currency they told us is coming out.
Gotcha. So with all that new content you listed and this new league, basically revamping and completely changing the entire end game, which is phenomenal. I will not even try to sugarcoat it. I was a very, very big campaign runner for 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3. I didn't play much of 0.4 because I just don't like the Temple, but that's just me. Temple was crazy broken. I might have had more fun if I got into the brokenness of, dropping divines and mirrors all over the place. But needless to say, I didn't like mapping. It was just in a terrible place. I felt like we were just aimlessly wandering an area with no actual incentive to be there. So I enjoyed the campaign. With 0.4, we got Act 4, right, which has the different areas, which was another phenomenal addition to the game. I can't wait to see Act 5 and Act 6. But
You can see Act 5 now, actually.
what do you mean?
You can do C content until you get to Oriath, and then you can see the chain beast and stuff.
Oh, really? That's awesome. So just another awesome thing that they've added this season. With the changes that they made to the end game and mapping, I feel like it's not anywhere near what Path of Exile 1 mapping is.
They just buff logbooks to drop more often. That's cool. Sorry, I cut you off.
You're good. You're good.
Right
That's
back.
exactly what this is about. The natural flow and craziness of, two people chatting. It's not scripted. That's what makes it feel better to me anyways. But anyways, with that end game changing, we have quests for each of the end game content. You have a whole quest line that you go through for Breach, Delirium, the Esmiri Wisps. They kind of give you a spoiler on something happening to King's March, because on the map we don't know what happened or the events that are happening in Act 5 and 6, but we have the ruins of King's March sitting down there near the coastline. So, but with that being said, I feel like I'm actually having a lot more fun in mapping because I actually have a direction to go, something to do, something to chase, some cool little things and storylines behind them, kind of giving us an idea. Now, the one thing I do want to ask you is, with the general Atlas points that you have, I think it's like 336.
Yes.
Do you feel that that's a bit excessive for the people that?
No.
Let me finish. I hear you. I hear your point. I get it. Do you feel that the 336 maps is a little bit excessive if they didn't give us the shortcut of the Arbiter of Divinity fight?
No.
So you think even making us, if we had to actually actively run the 336 maps, that would still be a general fair point for the end game?
Well, yeah. What else are you doing with your time? You don't have to run all 336 of them, right?
Right.
So like, you're like, oh, well, I need Abyss. I do Abyss. And then you're like, well, now I need Abyss and Wisp. So now you're like, oh, I need to go do some Wisp points. So you go get a bunch of Wisp points. And then you're doing Abyss and Wisp. So the big problem with the Atlas tree now is you unlock so much cool stuff and then you can't remove things. So like, a lot of us want to remove strong boxes from our maps. Not because strong boxes are bad, but because we want to do Wisp content, and Wisp content gets screwed by strong boxes.
Right.
So the fact that everything is automatically unlocked right away without the opportunity to remove and add stuff kind of like makes things awkward. The problem that you have is that the average player is going to complain because it takes them 15 to 20 minutes to do a map, and they should have some sort of consideration for the 15 to 20 minute player, which is why you have the shortcut. But even with the shortcut, people are still complaining. So you're like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right. Yeah. And I feel that. And I think that's kind of the point that I was trying to make. But with that being said, you can shortcut it. It might take you longer than your typical player. Well, I won't say typical, but your faster player, the ones that are running maps in a couple minutes rather than 10 to 15 minutes. They could run them faster, and they can also earn up the currency or whatever and just buy the fragment to just do the Arbiter of Divinity fight 5 times, and then boom, you have all your points, right? So I'm okay with that, and I enjoy that. That was cool. That was a cool little fight. It was actually awesome with my build that I was running, which was a Plant Druid Oracle build that was people saying was overpowered, but I felt very underpowered in the Arbiter of Divinity fight. It was super cool. The new fight was fantastic. It made me have to learn the mechanics. I probably died, I don't know, probably like 20, 30 times. So it was a cool fight. It felt fun. Were you in the fight for like 3 seconds, or did you actually have to attempt some of the mechanics?
The first time it took a little bit. But it should always take, like, the first time should always take a little bit, though.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree with that. So with the end game changes being very good in my eyes. The whole remap, doing the remap, which from the beginning they did say the game was supposed to launch with the majority of just campaign content, right? And then halfway through they shifted it towards, okay, we're going to throw endgame in there for the early access, right? So this is a very good showcase of what their actual intentions were, and I think they did an absolutely splendid job. It was absolutely good. So with that, let's jump over to the league mechanic that they went ahead and added in, which I thought was really cool, but I feel like once you get towards the end game, it feels almost kind of like I won't say a waste of time, but it's very hit or miss. The runic crafting. Not necessarily the crafting part of it, but the actual like mechanic part, like in your maps. When you click on the rune stone, you pick your runes, and then you decide what your reward's going to be. Kill some monsters. How do you feel about that implementation?
Say that again. You said it's bad?
No, I feel like a lot of times it feels more like a waste of time to even do the mechanic because the reward choices just aren't. They're not there. Like, let's be real. Like, unless it's divines.
We're playing different games.
What do you mean?
We're playing different games. All of my
course.
money, I have made thousands of divines this league, literally doing nothing but expedition.
Right, but I'm not referring to expedition. I'm referring to this small.
The runic stuff is expedition.
Correct. It's tied to expedition, but there's the one where you have just the rune, and you click it.
You can like tailor that and give it lucky modifiers and have it be better 90% of the time, right?
No, not at all. I didn't know that. So I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn. I know this. I learn a lot from you. So
there's a master node that gives it a chance to roll lucky modifiers. And the idea with the runic is it's in every map.
Right.
Of course, but it's in every map more with expedition. So you see it a little bit, but you see it a lot of it if you do expedition.
Okay, so and I did kind of catch that because when you do have an expedition on your map, there's normally like 2, 3, sometimes 4 of them in the expedition that you have to explode. Okay, so that's cool. That's good to know that it does get better if I semi or kind of start specking into it.
You just have to click. You just click the one master node on Giotto, and it's like a night and day difference.
True, actually, yeah. Speaking of the whole Giotto, there's like, is it 4 sections? And that's like separate. That's not like actually, it's part of mapping, and it is a part of mapping mechanic, but it's not actually tied into the atlas itself. It's like a separate little mechanic. I am still learning about it, so why don't you?
Wait. What do you mean it's a separate mechanic? Give me what you think it is first.
Well,
let's make sure we're on the same page.
It's tied into your atlas, right?
Sure.
And you have to go, like, for example, I have 2 nodes that are unlocked for the corrupted. No, 1 node unlocked for the corrupted nexus stuff.
Okay.
And then I have 1 Jado node unlocked. While they are completely tied to the atlas, I don't disagree there. You're right. I only have the 2 nodes, but it's like a different mechanic within the atlas. No different than like you have your main 336 atlas points, and then you have your specific mechanic atlas points, right? Those are they're the same thing. They all tie to your maps, but it's 2 separate functions. That's all I mean by that.
So I don't know if they're 2 separate functions because they like really enhance what you're doing.
Right. What I mean by 2 separate functions is you have 1 way to complete your 336 atlas points, right? And then you have a separate way to get your atlas points for the specific mechanic, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a separate way to get your points for the Jado, the corrupted nexus. That's all I mean.
It's the same thing with the atlas, with the like. Instead of going to Breach, you go to Hilda. Instead of going to Hilda, you go to Abyss. Instead of going to Abyss, you go to Giotto. And instead of going to Giotto, you go to like Doriani. You just pick the section. Like,
right.
They're all intertwined. I wouldn't say that they were like they're separate mechanics in their own sense, but I would say it's all modifiers it's all universal in modifying the atlas.
Correct. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. That's what I mean. I don't mean like they're just complete separate entities. I just mean like they each have their function towards the atlas progression, in essence, right? I have very little knowledge about that. Why don't you go ahead and explain to the audience that's more on my level of not knowing what all those are and how we obtain those things specific to like the corrupted nexuses and Jado. And I think there's two more, right?
There's 3 in total.
Okay, there's only 3 in total. Okay.
Yeah. So there's multiple mechanics. So as soon as you get to map, as soon as you complete the campaign and you get to the end game, you go to like the little ziggurat area, and Doriani's like, hey, this is your atlas. And when you open the atlas, he's like, there's this thing over there, there's this thing over there, and there's this thing over there. And you start the basic understanding of, I'm going to go, he's like, you should go check out this tower. And you go to this tower. And then you do a tower, and that starts to reveal the atlas. And he's like, wait, there's this swirly section here, and there's this thing over there, and this thing over there. And he sends you in these different directions. And being Path of Exile players, we just kind of skip through everything and we don't read anything or listen to anything because why would we?
Right.
But every mechanic has a zone to unlock everything, and every, to use your words, other mechanic like the Masters has a zone to unlock everything. So there are special maps on the Atlas that I forget what they're called. They're like anomaly maps.
Yeah.
The anomaly maps are for Jado. So your first anomaly map that you do and you complete, Jado shows up and he's like, hey, there's this one over here. And he highlights one. And you go run over there and do that one. Doriani, you go like a corrupted zone. You do a corrupted zone and Doriani shows up and he's like, wait a minute. This is really cool. There's another one. Go find it over there. And then when you start doing maps, you're going to run into another map where it's going to have like a boss. You know how like they have the little icons that are bosses? There's going to be one that's green. And it's going to say Great Beast. Then you go into that and you kill it. And then Hilda shows up and she's like, this is a Great Beast. There's one over there.
Gotcha.
So like the game will tell you exactly where to go. The problem is like the biggest problem is Path of Exile is such a complicated game, but it's so simple at the same time. Like it's hard to get into and easy to master, but then it becomes hard to master and easy to get into once you know it, right? So like it's this like weird flipping thing where until you understand what's going on, it's like Greek to me. And then you get it, and then you think you get it, and then you realize you know nothing, but you know enough to get by. So it becomes this like really, really awkward, situation.
Right.
But go ahead.
I was gonna say, with that being said, I think they nailed the progression style stuff for the Atlas, but I do feel that a lot of people, including myself, we did get confused with the explanation, like when Doriani comes up and says something, when Jado comes up and says something, or when you first run into Abyss area. At times, it's not very clear as to like what we're supposed to do.
There's a quest tab. You just click the quest tab.
Right, but
a lot of the confusion is literally we don't read and we don't listen and we don't pay attention. That's the confusion.
True, but for a small example, and this is absolutely a me issue, but I had somebody ask me how to anoint their amulet. And me,
correct,
not being completely into maps yet, I was like new to maps. I'm like, yeah, you just go in here, and I knew I had a distilled emotion, and I went to my stash. I opened the distilled emotion. I right clicked on it, and I was like, well, that's I don't know. And me knowing that my dad was in the chat, I was like, hey, Dad, are you by chance? Since you're much further along the Atlas progression than me, can you help me out? How the hell do we anoint amulets? So we went through like a double learning experience there. So it was really cool. I was able to learn. My dad taught me, and then I was able to help this fellow community member do it.
But
which
like
was
that's
really
the
cool.
beauty of it, right? Like you don't know something, and like you want to understand why. So you start doing research why, and then you hit a wall and you don't know, and then you start talking to your buddy, and your buddy's like, "Wait, I don't know," and then you both go on this like adventure to figure. So like that's where I have my fun, and I know a lot of people that are like that, where like the puzzle of solving why this doesn't work or how I do this is the point that kind of like sets it up. So like I didn't know how to do anointing the amulets, right? I didn't know either.
Right.
So I just went, I was like, oh, well, I wonder what happens if I go to the simulacrum area. And I went to the simulacrum area and I found this tree and I was just like, oh, and he was like, yo, do this thing so we can use this thing. And I was just like, oh, I wonder if I just start doing these quests, what will happen? Everything gets unlocked and everything gets explained as you go. It's just, if you've played PoE 1, you kind of try to skip steps. And if your buddies have played PoE 1, they try to explain it to you, they want to skip steps. So players who don't know are trying to skip steps because they don't know what they should be doing.
Right. And I think as it unfolds, I think some of the steps may be explained a little better. I think me and a few people were discussing like some of these mechanics that you run into while going through the campaign, for example. There could be a better introduction to these mechanics and what to do, which could be solved when we get our final 5th and 6th acts, right? We don't know. There might be much better introduction to some of these mechanics and what we have to do through the Atlas when we get our full campaign. That is a possibility.
But they are introduced in the Atlas. Every time you do a mechanic, the guy shows up and he says, go check out this area. Like, if you do the temple for the first time, and you go into the, like, you get temple in your map for the first time, right? And you go into the Vale of Runes because the portal pops up and you're like, what the hell is this? And you go into the Vale of Runes, like, what the hell is her name? The girl, I can't think of her name. Alva is just like, hey, on your Atlas, there's this Val Runes area. We should go explore that. And then the first time you do ritual, the Elder shows up and he's like, hey, there's this thing. And it opens your mini map. Granted, the mini map sometimes, or like the Atlas blacks out because it's buggy, but he opens your Atlas and he marks your Atlas where to go. And the same thing happens with like every mechanic. You do your first Abyss, or like you look at your Atlas and you see this like green crack in the world and you're supposed to be incentivized to go to it. And then you start doing it and the guy's like, come to the Well of Souls. And you're like, who the hell is this? And it's just like this dude that crawls out of the crack and he's like, go here. But once again, we skip it because we're in a rush or we don't notice or we click through it too fast.
While that could be for some cases, I think there are some cases of players that are reading and it's still confusing to them. And that could just be, what's the word I can look for without, I don't remember which mechanic it was, but there was one of the mechanics where they did do that whole introduction of like, hey, do this, go here. But when I opened my map, my Atlas map, where is the go here? And it didn't actually like show me a specific location. And me being early on in the Atlas, I have like 7 different exclamation marks above different things. And obviously browsing through it, I can kind of determine what's what, but it's not always clearly known what is what.
There's a button at the top of your Atlas that says quest and will expand a second screen to show you where things are.
Really?
I'm loading the game up now to show you. I've just been waiting for it to patch.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'll send you a screenshot, but right above the buttons, so here, where is this call? Right up there, there's a button that says quest in the top. And when I click that, it does this. I'm waiting for the images to load. And if I go to different acts, for example, I didn't do the Runeseeker quest on this character. If I go to, say, Act 2 and click that quest button, it'll pop up with another window that says search Deshar for runestones. And it did that for all of the things. It's just in the top right of the screen, so nobody thinks to click it, nobody thinks to look at it. And if you look at the first screenshot that I sent and you start scrolling down, it says like, and I'll send another one. It says like a powerful foe, abyssal power, keepers of the flame, strange reflection, and these all tell you where to go and what to do. It's PoE's notorious for shit UIs. Gotcha. Also, there's a search bar. There's a search bar in the top of the Atlas where if you just put what you're looking for,
right?
Like say a map that's called, Asmiri Ranges, you type the word range in the search bar and hit enter, and your Atlas will literally go straight to that map.
Right, and I did learn that recently, but I didn't realize that you could actually open it up to the quest thing. So that's actually really good information, and we'll go ahead and throw the screenshots and stuff up on the screen for you visual people paying attention, so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about. But that's actually really cool information. And I do feel that a lot of people, you're absolutely right when it comes to a lot of people just don't necessarily pay attention as much as you should when you're trying to learn a game. And a lot of PoE2 players want to literally just skip to the, hey, we're fighting, we're doing combat, whatever we're doing in the game that we enjoy, rather than reading these dialogues, listening to the things, the cues, and all that stuff, so that we can understand why we're doing what we need to do and how we can do what we need to do. So I mean, it does make sense, but I did not know that you could open that tab up to show the quest as well. I did know that you could click on the button and it would take you to the area. I did learn that one, but
you can also control click the button and it'll just open the portal for you. You don't even have to go to the area.
Oh, the more you know. Sweet. That's cool. So I think that's the majority of the PoE2 talk for the episode. I know there's a ton of stuff that we could sit here and talk about for hours and hours and hours and hours, but I know we both would like to be kicking some ass in game as soon as possible. So we're going to move on over to kind of the D4 stuff. I know that you had not been playing Diablo 4 for a while, or if you had been, it's been behind the scenes or not as much. But Season 13, the expansion, the Lord of Hatred, where we actually get a pinnacle boss or one of the prime evils. We actually get to fight one of the prime evils in the game for this expansion, and it brought 2 new classes. Diablo, not Diablo. One problem, and the only problem that I have with the game at the moment. 2 classes: the Paladin, which was actually available on pre-order, right? For if you pre-ordered the game, you could play the Paladin the previous season, and the Warlock. When you started your D4 playthrough, what did you start on, and how'd that go? What'd you like? What'd you dislike about everything?
I did the campaign. I did the campaign as Warlock because it was new and I haven't tried it,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the campaign a lot. The biggest reason why I play D4 is literally for the campaign.
100%. That they're known for their visual, cinematic, storytelling, lore. Absolutely.
And I played as a Warlock, and Warlock was fine for like the first 2 hours, and then it became like excessive. Just too many buttons. Like I might be the weird one here. I like, if I'm not playing Black Desert Online and I'm playing like the actual ARPG experience or a non-MMO, I want to press one button and not think, which is why, like in PoE, we were talking earlier, I made my shield thrower character. I spent an excessive amount of money to play one button. I want to blow up everything with one button, and Warlock didn't let me do that. So I like suffered through the campaign because I was a Warlock already, and I didn't want to start the campaign all over. But as soon as I was done with the campaign, Warlock just got backburnered.
Yeah.
So
I had a similar experience. I started Warlock because it was new. The D2R Warlock gave me hope that it would be nice and new. The whole shiny, famous Blizzard tales of the new character is always brokenly strong. Just didn't happen this league or this season.
Yeah.
It was very balanced.
Wait. But Warlock was pretty good though. There was a lot of like overpowered stuff you could do with Warlock though.
In D4?
Yeah.
Well, there was stuff that was broken. It was exploits and stuff that weren't supposed to mechanically be happening. I'm not saying that it's not strong, but as the famous Blizzard new shiny toy is thrown out there, Warlock just wasn't it. It was strong.
Yeah, no, it was. It was called Paladin.
Paladin is weaker than Warlock.
We're playing different games.
We must have been playing different games. Paladin was broken last season, but if you look at like a lot of the top clears, the top clearing classes was
the exploiting ones.
No, non-exploiting ones was Barbarian
the exploiting ones.
and Swords.
And the exploiting ones. Yeah,
they
the
had
exploiting
exploits,
ones.
But once
They were heavily exploiting.
well, which parts of them were exploiting?
They were Sork's entire kit was exploited. So was Barbarian.
Explain.
I could pull up all the information. I have to go pull it all up, and I could send it to you, and you could post it into this later. But there was tons of exploits and tons of problems. The same thing with Rogue.
100%.
Rogue was able to just execute everything without thinking.
Oh yeah, Rogue was busted. The Umbercrux has been broken since they added the Umbercrux to the game. We'll be serious there. But anyways, with the shoe 90 toy, you know what I'm saying? The Warlock was actually in a very balanced state, in my opinion, as far as like the general builds and the skills, the general power without exploiting, was fairly balanced, which was kind of a disappointment in my book, because that was kind of that's kind of been Blizzard's whole spiel. You know, the new shiny toy is brokenly strong, so to invite more and more people to play in it. But anyways, they did a really solid introduction of something that D4 did not have, and that is crafting. They added
crafting was very good.
They added the Herodric Cube, and they added crafting. And it's a much simpler version of any kind of crafting from any type of game. And I think that they hit the crafting system really, really good. What was your experience with the crafting system in the cube? And
after I learned it, it was out of this world.
You could basically print whatever you wanted.
Yes.
Right. And the only downside to printing what you wanted, while you could get everything you wanted and potentially like close or max rolls of every affix you wanted on the item, the only downside is that obviously when you're min-maxing, you want those same affixes, but you want them as a greater affix. Right, which was
the problem with Diablo is like outside of like Pit 150, which doesn't do anything, you don't really need to push for like those kind of content, right? But you can also like cheat the greater affixes using like I don't know what the term is for Diablo, but like, you know, Path of Exile term, you can like fracture your mods on without problem, and you just roll it until you get what you want at that point.
Was there? I don't think there's anything that's similar to the fracture in PoE.
You can literally you could fracture in D4 though.
Oh, you're referring to the whole enchant it to lock the affix.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Okay, yeah. And then that was the way that we did it. Yeah. Okay. I was like, wait a second, brain not braining. Okay, but yeah, you could.
So you can fracture a GA, or you get a base with two GAs. You fracture one, and then you get a 2 GA base with different modifiers, like different group modifiers, right? So like if you're trying to make like a crit weapon, you get a fractured GA base with like a crit mod and a dex mod, because I played rogue, right?
Right.
So now you don't have to worry about utility mod, you just need to worry about your offensive mod. So when you're crafting, like you can just target offensive mods, and you don't ever have to worry about losing your offensive mod because your defensive mod is already there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've already have one lock. So you'd get a GA for just say crit bonus, a GA for dex, and then you would craft on your next offensive one, and then you would craft on whatever utility one you needed. So like you could like, it was just an item printer. And then after that, you just masterworked until GA.
Yep.
But Diablo just evolved into like, get all of your bases, and craft them and see what happens.
Oh yeah, the transfigure. Yep. Hoping for that gem quality on your weapons.
Yeah. I never did any of that because there was never a reason to do any of that. I understand why people did it. Like, it makes sense why people would want to do it, but like, you didn't need it, and everybody thought they needed it.
Right, because the bigger content creators are doing it, so they feel like they needed to do it, which I agree with that. You don't need it, and I think that's the big difference between Path of Exile and Diablo, is that in Diablo, generally speaking, you can get a good, powerful build going and kill every content in the game, whereas Path of Exile, you can get a good build going, but then you're going to hit that wall on, we'll say, this pinnacle boss.
Path of Exile 1, that's true, not in Path of Exile 2.
True. Path of
PoE 2
Exile
is very
2.
more forgiving
Yes,
for
yes.
like players who want to do
Correct.
their own thing.
And I think that is one thing that Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 4 are missing in my eyes. They definitely need to give you that incentive and reason to min-max a build so that you can complete this content, because without min-maxing, or not necessarily min-maxing, but pushing your build beyond the base parameters. 100%.
I agree.
So with Diablo 4 expansion, they brought a new content into the game, which is kind of Atlas tree-ish. Not really, but close. Called War Plans. And I personally loved the idea and the concept of being able to adjust the mechanics or change the way your end game is playing. It was a good addition. Me personally, it didn't quite hit the mark, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But for you, when you came back to play, how did you feel with the war plans, the progression, and what you were able to do with them?
War plans were the only reason I stayed playing the game. Just having the ability to like fine tune what I was doing. Granted, not perfect, a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
War plans really, really kind of like redefined my look on Diablo. That alongside with the crafting, but war plans were just so good.
Yes.
War plans were ridiculous.
Is there anything that you would change about war plans if you
I
could?
assume my answer is going to be the exact same as what you're about to say. And war plans need to be quicker and more universal. And the reason, like, the only reason I say war plans need to be quicker is because, like, I'm okay with the PoE 2 Atlas grind because the progression is like you constantly progress in a way that's meaningful. But in Diablo 4, like, I can do a map or I guess a dungeon, get Atlas points or progression points, and nothing comes out of it. At least when I do like a map in PoE, there's like update, like I get Atlas points. You know, war plans just were like, all right, do 100 of these, and then maybe you'll get a point.
Okay, so
and then you want to re-roll, and you're cooked. You're cooked. There's nothing to do. You're super cooked.
yes, that was the big issue in my eyes. When I wanted to re-roll into a new class, now I could no longer benefit from this hard-earned time invested into the changing my endgame content. Because let's be real, the one of the big differences between Path of Exile 1 and 2 and Diablo 4 is that I can make a new character and have it max level ready to go in 3 seconds, whereas to PoE 2, you would have to play for at least 3-ish hours or more before you could get into the end game.
Yeah, like 4, yeah.
So
it's like 4, and then you have to level after that. So like it's like 4 through the campaign, and then the process of getting gear on. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass.
Right, but you get you feel that progression of your content, which I think is one of the things that D4 might be lacking slightly, because it is. While it is cool to be able to just swap to a new character and then boom, I'm max leveled, and then boom, 10 minutes I've rolled gear to put this build together, and boom, I'm playing this new build. Cool, but I do feel a little bit lack of progression. But back to the war plans, that was one of my biggest downsides. Was 1, it takes forever to level them up to max, and then 2, you change to a new character and you got to start over. So you don't get any benefit of all that investment time. And then 3, like you said, you're spending a ton of time in one content with no reward for several hours at times, depending upon how your war plans rolled, because you didn't always get the perfect set of war plan that you wanted. You had to re-roll. So,
and that's the big difference, like with the 336 passive points, right? Like if I did a map, I got a point, and I could see progression, feel progression.
Right, exactly, and so that's one thing that I will say. Okay, no worries, no big deal, gotcha. I think with the expansion, and we got the Mephisto fight. I I don't remember. I can't remember whether or not they twisted the Lilith fight as well, but it did feel really good with the pinnacle boss Mephisto being added to the game, and you actually had to do mechanics. Now, obviously, once people figured out, the broken builds and the exploits and stuff like that, it was still nothing. But when you were on your first character, no progression really. You're just doing the fight. You can run Torment 12, but you go and do a Torment 12 Mephisto and he kicks your ass. How did your experience go when you first went into the Mephisto fight?
I was geared out of my mind and didn't see any mechanics.
So you didn't even try it until you were way overgeared.
I didn't know I was way overgeared.
Gotcha. It was a complete different experience for me because I was pushing the struggle at around T9, T10 for a while on my first character. I went into Mephisto and I was like, there's no chance. Now I was still on Warlock at the time, so that might have been the issue. Get off Warlock, reroll.
Well,
but
I did the pinnacles before Mephisto, like the little guy in the ice and stuff. And and those were like when those became a problem, I didn't even consider going into Mephisto, right? But then eventually you got to the point where I was farming those and Mephisto never had there was never a reason. And I think a lot of these games suffer with this. There's never a real reason to go to certain pinnacle fights. What the hell was I going to go to Mephisto for? Just to say I did it? It didn't do anything.
Right.
By the time you got to the point where you're doing Mephisto for the spark, you already and you can kill it for the spark. You don't even need it.
Right. You'd say, so sparks were a big issue this season. I'm sitting on 200 and I've used
there's no reason. So by the time I was just I think I literally was talking to you and you're like, did you kill Mephisto yet? And I was like, no. And you're like, game's not over till you kill Mephisto. And I was like, all right, I guess the game's not over. And he just walked in there and died. And I was like, I don't know what was I supposed to do? Granted, the first time I fought Mephisto in the campaign, you gotta figure out how to do all the stuff. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But that's campaign experience, right? You expect it to be this learning experience and struggle, and you're gonna lose, and there's gonna be yellow balls that fly out and a demon dog, and it was cool.
Yeah, it was definitely cool. And as we spoke earlier, the Blizzard D4, they are definitely known for their cinematic storytelling, graphics, and all that stuff tied into a bundle, which is one of the reasons that we keep coming back.
Yeah.
But definitely cool. I definitely like it. They do have kind of incentive to fight some of the lair bosses, and they kind of adjusted that particularly for this expansion launch, which was specific uniques that were dropped by specific bosses. And if you didn't need a specific unique, then you wouldn't have any reason to go there. But that's no different than, Path of Exile. You go fight this pinnacle boss because they have this drop pool, right? So same concept there. But I will say they did a change to uniques, which I am not a fan of. And
not a fan of either. I think it's terrible.
I think it's absolutely terrible. And I think the majority of the community kind of agrees. And they made uniques not really unique. It's more of a glorified legendary piece that just has a unique aspect. And what made it feel even more worse was the fact that when you get that unique finally, and you're like, sweet, that's my build enabling unique. Shit, it doesn't have anything I want on it as far as the affixes go. And it's like, okay, what can I do? And Blizzard looks at you and goes, not a damn thing. Go find a new one. But
yeah, it feels bad.
It does. It does. It feels very bad. And then it feels even worse when you farm up, we'll say 20, 30 pairs of these, and you do the whole re-roll, and you get 10, because it takes 3-to-1 ratio, right?
Yep.
So you get 10 pairs, 10 new pairs that all are no different than the 30 you farmed up. So, but don't fret. Next season, it is supposed to be changing, and we'll be able to actually adjust. I don't know how many, if not all, of those roles to some matter or another. I think we might be able to semi-craft the uniques, which I kind of think defeats the purpose of uniques. But, you know, we'll see where they're going with that, because they also they've actually, have you looked at anything that's going on with season 14 yet?
Nope.
So
Diablo's one of those games where like I just like turn it on in the blind and wish for the best.
I hear you, and it's kind of cool to do that as well, because, like we said many times, it's jumping into that experience of storytelling, cinematic style game is if you already know the whole story, it's not really as good listening to it again.
Mhm.
But we'll go ahead and give you a little spoiler here. They're doing a change to uniques where you can actually turn your normal unique, into a mythic unique. Which, if you don't know what that means that the unique that you have now will have max rolls of whatever affixes are on it, and the unique aspect.
Don't they have that in D3? Isn't there like, it's what, like primal?
Yes,
right?
primal uniques, or primal. I think it's primal items. I don't know if it was tied. I think it was tied to uniques and sets, because sets was a huge thing for D3. D3 was like all about the sets, which is actually another aspect that I completely totally forgot about in D4. They brought sets into D4. Which they said they were never against, but they just wanted to make sure they did it in a meaningful way. So let's jump over to that real quick. And what did you think about the way that they incorporated set items and set bonuses into the world of D4?
I like set items. I've always liked set items, but I grew up playing D2. So like, I don't know, dude, it's kind of cool. I also like rune words. So like, I don't know. I didn't really have an opinion on them turning it on. I was just like really like, I was grateful they were there more than anything, because they're like fun to play with. I like the idea of different stats. I like I forget what they're called, the socket thingies you could put them in. There's like socket thingies around the thingy. There's like 6 of them.
Well, the seal was the main item that basically unlocked your charm slots.
Yeah, the charm. I thought the whole system was so cool.
I agree. I think without adjusting you or your character. So while D2 and D3 did a little bit different, right? You had your full set pieces. D3 was basically like your character was built around a set. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Generally, they did add some crazy, crazy gems, because there was unique gems in D3. For those of you that don't know, that would give you some major bonuses. And there was one that said, like, you get extra bonus damage for each unique that you're wearing, and you lose said bonus if you're wearing any set bonuses. So it was kind of one of those to like throw you off of the set base things. But yeah, I definitely appreciate them not taking away from what they already had as far as defining your character with gear, uniques, aspects, affixes, and all that stuff, and throwing in a whole new system that allows us to boost us even more so. Now, I will say, at the same time, I feel that power creep, where I'm okay with a slight power creep as you progress through your game and your story, but I feel like same thing happened with D3, and it was really all they did was just keep pushing the numbers up and up and up and up, and never like balancing the numbers back down. So the content that exists in the game just becomes too easy at some point until they readjust the content. So, but yeah, I loved sets. I was excited to see sets. I really hope that they tweak runes in a way, shape, or form that it's a little bit more meaningful, and maybe more set in stone. I definitely loved the whole D2 rune system, where you take runes, you make a unique, and you get a random set of rolls, which maybe you're going to have to go farm those runes again to remake that item because you got a low end roll. So, but that's the end game farming circle loop that a lot of us are all looking for and whatnot. Because it does really get stale when you just keep doing the same thing and you have no reason or incentive to do the same thing, right?
Yep.
So with the new mythic uniques, where all uniques can become mythic uniques, there's been a lot of naysay because of the whole unique system the way it is. I think at least they're listening to the community to the point where the new mythic uniques, I'm not sure if the new mythic uniques themselves will be re-rollable as the affixes, but I believe that we'll be able to adjust the affixes of the unique before we turn it into a mythic. I'm not sure exactly how much that works. I just know the little bit of information that I have found on the season. I never played the PTR for season 14 because I've never been one to. I don't want to test what you're cooking up.
It ruins it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big problem like that with when I played Dead by Daylight back in the day. They would always release like PTRs early, and it would just like kill the whole experience. Like, I don't want to go play the new stuff and then it comes out and then I'm supposed to pretend I'm excited about new shit. Like, it's like, I'll just wait. And then people would be like, oh my God, you don't want to try the new stuff? No, I don't. I will get there when I get there.
Yep.
So I get it.
And with the new uniques, I'm not sure exactly what all else is coming in new. I know that was just a big discussion point, was the whole new mythic uniques. Every unique in the game will now be able to be a mythic unique. They reworked the mythic seals. I don't know how, but they just felt very bland. There was absolutely almost no reason to run a mythic unique seal in season 13.
I never actually don't think I dropped any.
Yeah, I don't think you were in long enough to get the drop, but for sure they did not have a high drop. There was plenty of people that were telling me that they never found one either. So, and that's understandable.
I know I bought unique ones, but it wasn't the one that goes in the middle. It was one of, like, I think I bought a unique charm, or I crafted a unique charm. I think I crafted a unique charm.
A regular unique, yeah, but mythics, I don't think you can craft. Well, I don't know. I can neither.
They were the purple charm ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got one. Mm-hmm. But everything I read about them said they were bad. Like, there was never a need.
The seals, yes, not the charms. So the charms are the ones that I never found. With the several hundred hours that I put into season 13, I never found a unique charm. Right? There was your mythic uniques, like the Harlequin Crest, Shaco, Tyrael's Might, the Heir of Perdition. Those mythic uniques where they had that insane power, those could actually be dropped as a charm. You couldn't craft them. You had to find them throughout farming. But yeah, those were supposedly insanely rare. I never saw one of those. But there should be those items in the game, right? There should be those items that not everybody's going to find. So I kind of like that they did that with those, making them very, very rare.
Well, you should, like, everybody should have the opportunity to find them, but they should be chase items.
Right, exactly.
Like,
so yeah, I 100% agree. And the last topic that we're gonna talk about, which is something that I don't feel needs to be in the game. I don't even care. I'm more of a community person anyways. I play a lot with community members, but we already have this mode in Path of Exile, and it's called Solo Self-Found, right? You can't trade. You are basically all on your own for creating your character. While I totally understand people that like that mode, and they like the ability to do that, and then the whole concept of, okay, I'm in Solo Self-Found, so that everything I did is all me. There's no, well, hey, I found this item, but I really bought it off the trade market, right? So I totally understand that. It's not for me, but supposedly they're going to be bringing that to D4, so a lot of people are excited for that.
Good, I guess. I'm glad for them. I get. I okay.
Go ahead. Finish that.
Why do you need to click a checkbox when you just have the willpower to not trade?
I agree. I have the same standpoint. I don't mind the mode, but I feel like it's not.
No,
something
yeah,
that's
absolutely. You guys want to play
needed.
solo cell phone? Play solo cell phone. Like, absolutely. But like, can't you just not trade?
Yep. That's my thought. That's my thought too. And that's basically how I play Path of Exile too. I typically don't buy stuff for the most part. You know, I farm up everything on my own. I try and find the items that I need on my own. I don't craft because I learned my lesson with that. A lot of people give me shit for that, but you know, it is what it is. I've had nothing but bad experiences with crafting, so
Sure.
I choose to stay away from it. I'd rather farm up the 150 divine that I need for the item rather than spend, you know, the average 50 div that it takes to craft it. Because it takes 50, average 50, and it'll take me, you know, 200 to craft it. That's been my experience.
Sure.
But needless to say, can we expect Mr. Travic to be playing season 14 of Diablo 4, or have you not figured that one out yet?
When is season 14?
I'm not 100% sure. It's in like 2-ish weeks, I think.
No.
What's in 2-ish weeks that's keeping you from D4?
PoE 1?
When is PoE 1?
Early July.
They announced the date though, right?
July. Yeah, there's a date.
Oh, the second week. So you have like a 2-week gap there.
No, there's PoE 2.
Still, is that good for you? Yeah.
I think PoE 1 needs to be taken out back like Old Yeller, and they need to just set it off into the sunset and focus PoE 2.
I agree, and I think while I feel bad for the PoE 1 players that enjoyed the PoE 1 and they were kind of like put on the back burner when early access first launched, I do definitely agree that, you know, you're working on a new game for your franchise, and it should be your main focus, and your secondary focus, PoE 1, should be, you know, thrown kind of on the back burner, at least for the duration.
I understand the sentiment of like, my game is dead. I used to play a game called Home Sweet Home Survive, and like that was like a DVD style game. I love that game. I put money in that game. I supported the devs every way I could. I streamed that game. I made content about that game, and eventually it died and shut down and feels bad. Played a private EverQuest server. It died. It shut down. It feels bad. I get it. I'm not trying to be insensitive to people that like PoE 1, but like, if you have a company that you like and a game base that you like, and the game is doing its damn best to constantly update and change and cater, including the patch today, which pushes it more and more towards like PoE 1, and the player base and the money is there, you should, like, maybe not should, but there's a lot of incentive to have them working on it and focusing on it, especially with like PoE 2's ability to have its systems do what it does. Like, I know a lot of people don't like WASD and some people like WASD, but that's like a really good example. Like, the systems are so updated that like the graphics are better, the movement's better, you have controls are better, which granted, I don't know how the hell they don't have keyboard to mouse yet. But there's so many good things and good opportunities that come out being with a new client on a new, I don't think it's a new engine, but like a new base to work off of with code that's not 400 years old and scrambled.
I completely agree. And I think when you said keyboard and mouse, you're referring to controller, right?
Yeah, that's the interaction where you're like playing on controller and you go back to keyboard and mouse. Yeah. Because I know I want to, like, I've heard such good things about the controller, and I have so many friends that are playing on it, and I'm like, I've played builds where like controller would probably be sweet, but I don't want to deal with my inventory in controller.
Correct. I should be able to just grab my mouse and keyboard, and it just swaps the UI to That's been...
And you have something like that in Hero Siege, and how Hero Siege is able to do it, but games like Path of Exile can't do it, like, blows my mind.
I think it's spaghetti coding for that particular point, because it really is just a switch the UI.
Game, then.
Oh no, I agree.
Like you, I know I'm not saying you, but I'm saying their excuse can't be, oh, our spaghetti code. You made a whole new game to solve these problems.
Oh no, no, no! I'm not defending them by any means. I'm just
No,
saying.
no, I know you're not.
Yeah. Okay, okay. But no, yeah, I completely agree. There's no reason that like, even if it's not an instantaneous switch, if I can't just like push a button, like go on my controller and like being like, boom, I want to switch to mouse and keyboard now. Like, there's no reason that I should have to log out.
Yeah, I agree.
Switch.
Even if you like hotkey to setting to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And it just swaps. You can't simultaneously use both, which I'm sorry, I'm against that because there's plenty of games that I would love to have like a joystick controller on my left hand for my WASD and all my buttons just right there, and then use my mouse to aim, like for first-person shooters, for example. That would be phenomenal. I would love that because I'm not going to kill every single joint in my left hand trying to push WASD with 17 hotkeys at the same time while trying to aim and shoot and loot and all that good stuff, regardless. But needless to say, yeah, I will 100% back that. I do not understand why, and I think it's probably because we don't have enough people complaining about that aspect, because we don't have enough people that use controller that understand how much better it is on mouse and keyboard. I think that might possibly be the case. I could be wrong, though. I don't know. But needless to say, that is about an hour, and I just want to say thank you, Mr. Travic, for taking some time out of your day to sit down and have a little talk about here, and I think we'll call it there. Is there anything else that you want to say or add?
The podcast is generally fun and a good time, regardless of the headaches to get it set up in the background.
Yes.
It's genuinely a lot of fun and a good time.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure.
I like the conversations a lot.
It does. And on that note, we will be attempting to be a little bit more often and more common, and we'll have more strategic setups for the future podcast down the line. And I look forward to having many, many, many more episodes with you, my friend. But for now, this is where we end this episode, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Static buzz in the midnight air. Travic and Sp00ker in the gamer's lair. Loot drops falling like a neon rain. Pixel worlds driving us insane. Halo rings light up the fight. Sonic speed blurs through the night. Diablo's demons in the dungeon's breath. Path of Exile paths leading to death. Live farming gossip in the glow. Digital whispers in the flow. EverQuest dreams keep us alive. Dead by daylight screams collide. Talk of bosses grinding bones. Legends born in gaming zones. Quests that stretch beyond the frame. In this podcast we name the game. Controllers on the heartbeat song. Spooker's laugh keeps the vibe strong. Travic's words cut through the noise. Gaming tales from girls and boys. The farming gossip in the glow. Digital whispers in the flow. EverQuest dreams keep us alive. Dead by daylight screams collide. Controllers hum the heartbeat song. Spooker's laugh keeps the vibe strong. Travic's words cut through the noise.